So I recently was in the market for a new set of clubs. I hadn't bought new clubs in a long time and did some comparison shopping, and given that I bought some and I'm pleased with how it turned out, I figured I'd share what I learned along the way and a little bit of other stuff I know. So the first set of clubs I bought many years ago was a set, well, the first set of decent clubs was a set of Todd Smiths, which you can now see are all beat to hell. I didn't really look at Todd Smith much this time around. I don't know why. I think the main reason I bought them years and years ago is they were very comparable to the Dubes, but they were a couple dollars cheaper per club, and I was in high school, so that mattered to me a lot. Comparison-wise, I'll note some things like the Todd Smith clubs, and these are really dated, so for all I know, theirs aren't like this anymore. The knob on the Todd Smith does not have a screw in it, it's solid. The end cap in the Todd Smith has a couple of brads, small nails, tacking them in. But other than that, it looks extremely similar to a standard Brian Dube European club that you've probably seen a million times over. It is a little bit shorter, and I'm sure that their websites will give you the official specs on all these, but I would guess it's about a half an inch shorter. But like I said, to be perfectly fair or unfair, I didn't really give Todd Smith a fair shake in all this time around. So I had been using these Brian Dubes for many years now, and I didn't have much of a good reason for replacing them. I suppose I was just getting itchy for a new toy. They've held up very well. The tape is a little bit yellowed here, but mostly they're in pretty good shape. Noteworthy difference, they do have the screw in the bottom. I think Dube still does this, which I guess some people don't like. I've heard concerns about injuries, though I don't know how I'd really hurt myself with that. The end caps are solid and are glued on. I think one of the reasons I went with the Todd Smith years ago as well is because I was, I take that back. I mean, one of the reasons I went with the Dubes the second time around is because this seemed to me like it would be easier to replace if the knobs went. But none of my knobs have ever gone on a club in as much as I've used them, so I don't know why I was so worried about that anyway. So one of the things that got me looking around a little bit more this time around is that these clubs, while they're very nice clubs, actually hurt my hands a fair amount. Now part of that is I'm a wimp, because I went many years where I wasn't juggling that much. But now that I've gotten back into it, they kind of beat up my hands a bit. The grips feel pretty hard to me. And when I watch a lot of videos on YouTube of people juggling Renegade clubs, it just sounded softer to me. Now years ago when I bought the Dubes, I'd seen Renegade clubs, and at the time I did not like them, and there are a few reasons for that. One, they felt very fat to me up here in the barrel, and that was not appealing to me at all, and I hated their grips. At the time, they did not offer taped grips, so their grips were, as I recall, they were plastic, and they had a lot of kind of rough edges on them, and I just found them really uncomfortable. When I did a little bit of homework this time around, I found that Renegade has changed their offerings quite a bit. So they're very customizable in terms of size, length, weight, colors, all that good stuff. In particular, they're customizable in the width of the body. So their old standard was a 95 millimeter club, which is the thing I thought was fat, and I still probably would think it was kind of too fat for my liking. But they now offer an 85 millimeter, and this Dube that I've been using forever is an 83 or 84 millimeter, so you're not even going to notice a difference like that. So that concern goes away. They also now offer taped handles, which they didn't used to, and so I thought that might help with my concerns about the grips. Beyond that, I think they look kind of nice, and lots of people like them, so I figured it was time to give them a shot. But realistically, as they were in the mail, I figured they were going to arrive, and they really were not going to be very different at all. But they'd look cool. Once they arrived, I found they actually are quite different in a number of small ways, and all in all, though I love Brian Dube, I bought a lot of their equipment. I think they're really good people, and I wouldn't hesitate to buy from them again. I'm pretty pleased with the Renegade clubs that showed up. So here's a couple of the main differences I noticed. One, there's just a pretty big cosmetic difference here up in the barrel. They're the same size. The lengths of the clubs on the whole are pretty comparable. The Renegade is a little bit shorter, which I wanted, about a half an inch shorter. They'll customize them different lengths, but I wanted it a little bit shorter than the Dubes I was used to. But you can see what happens in the barrel here. At least I think you can see that. The Dube, the white part of the barrel, is pretty long and fat, whereas Renegade has devoted a lot more of the body of the club to the decorations. which was a little jarring to me at first just because it looks so different, but I do think it looks better, it looks nicer. The knobs are different here. The Renegade goes back to the old Todd Smith days for me in that it does not have a screw in the base. It has a pretty broad, flat knob, which is really nice for balancing and so on, and I guess maybe it should raise my concern again about what'll happen the day I need to replace the knobs, but again, I've never had to do that, so I don't know why I think I care so much about that. The real pleasant surprise for me has been in the handles. I had said on the web that they sounded different to me, and I decided that that was probably just me being stupid. Now that I've played with both, I really don't think it is, and if you have a chance to feel both of them before you make up your mind, I'd recommend you do so. I can try to do this, but I doubt it's going to translate at all to video. If I throw the Dube and catch it, I don't know if you'll be able to hear the difference between these two at all. And again, these Dubes even are pretty old by now, so it's possible they've changed their grips, but I don't think so. So the Dube, when it hits, is kind of a hard slapping sound. The Renegade is more of a hollow, kind of thunking sound. And it's weird. It's hard for me to describe. It feels, it's not, but it feels like the grip is cardboard almost. It's very soft in my hand. And given that I've already determined I'm a wimp and the clubs are hurting my hand, I'm really liking this a lot. So the Dube is a great club. I like them as a company. I'm sure lots of people will continue to buy their clubs and be happy with them. But if your needs align with mine, I think the Renegade clubs have come a long way and are really worth looking at anyway, both because of the comfort of the grip. The appearance is nice. The Dube has more decoration options than they used to. Anything you'd want in terms of customization of the length or the width or the weight of the club, Renegade seems to have all that covered these days. Oh, there is one other difference I was going to mention, and I almost forgot. If we put the clubs side by side, you can see that the Renegade, the grip actually goes up a little bit higher. It may just, yeah, it's not even that. It really is a longer grip. I think I have those about parallel for you. You can see there's probably an extra inch of grip on the Renegade. I can't say I love the way that looks, but I don't think it looks bad. It's just different. And in terms of giving you a bigger catching area on the club, I think that it's just fine. So hopefully that helps you if you're considering the same kind of decision that I was. I really don't think you can go wrong with either club, but mostly, like I said, I had convinced myself that these were not going to be very different clubs, and now that I've had them both in my hands, I think they really are, and it's worth seriously weighing the decision and figuring out which of them better suits your needs. So hope that helps.